Yeah, look, man, welcome back to the platform, and welcome back to the platform. Really appreciate you guys being here. Thanks for supporting the channel. Continue to hype up the video. Continue to comment, continue to smash the like button, and if you're new, also subscribe to the channel. But look, Dujuan, Whisper Richards, and Dixon. That's where I'm going at this moment. I'm going to talk about those two players, but it was an iconic game. It was an iconic game inside of the National Stadium, and it doesn't get more iconic than that. Where you see Brogard sitting, watching the boys and on the field, doing their thing, and also the musicians, big media personalities were in the stadium as well. People that flew from across the Atlantic, flew down, to watch that game, to watch the Reggae Boys. And I was thinking, like, maybe they make it a point of due to that. Look, after what happened, in the September window, and news started to swirl around that. Look, the Reggae Boys, they could finish on top of the group, and also not on top of the group, but also finish the October window by qualifying for the World Cup. So a whole heap of people that, look, them are gonna fly down, them are gonna make it be a point of duty, them are gonna make sure that the appointment booked for them to be inside of the office. But it wasn't for the party for us to celebrate for our second finals. But then again, you have to look at it, our back was against the wall. Yeah, the Reggae Boy players in the back was against the wall, and you would say, they turn up. They did turn up on the day, on the night, and show their class versus a lower standard Bermuda team. I don't want to disrespect them, but they didn't really offer anything on the table for the Reggae Boys. They didn't really offer anything on the table. I think they offer a little bit more threat, at their home venue than when they played, on October the 14th and inside of a stadium. But let me talk about Dujuan, Whisper Richards, and also Dixon. The comparison of both players has been flashing around the media of, is it that Dixon good like, Whisper, who is more of a world-class player, who is more of a better player. And I must say, like, the two players are very good players in their own way. And a young Dixon, he's just an energy god. And Whisper, he's just someone that is just so slick. He's so smooth in his craft, you understand? And how he just beat a player. He's a player that he's not going to rush to beat a player. Meanwhile, Dixon, he's going to bring the energy, he's going to bring the pace, and he's going to bring the tempo of beating a player, everything to the game. And he's the one that, like to set the standard of the game. And if I look at it like a young player like that, played, the Costa Cup for Clarendon College just about half a season for Arnett Garden, and then boom, he got a contract in England. Whisper right after the back of, that Manning Cup final. Boom, contract after finish his Manning Cup season with Kingston College. And we have never really seen, look, I'm talking for myself, like, I've never really seen anything like that where two players, literally less than a year, literally less than, just a few months, just by playing in a PE tournament, the Manning Cup and the Dakar Cup, they got a contract in England. One, the contract was in League One for Charlton, and the other one is for a Premier League club. Whisper, his ceiling is right up here. You understand? His ceiling is right up here, and I'm looking at the two players like Dixon gracing the pitch, for the Reggae Boys in a World Cup qualifier game, starting that game. Whisper getting more minutes for the national team in that game, decisive game, and the stage was there for them to light it up, for Dixon to start in that game, to set the tempo of the game, to bring that energy to the game. He was everywhere. He's a player that is not short for confidence. And what was at stake for a young player to step up from the start of the game to put in such a magnificent performance from the start until he came off? I have to applaud the man. That shows you that the confidence is there, the morale is there, the passion is there. You want to fight. You know exactly what is the task, and the task is to get the team over the line, to get these 3 points, to at least set up November window to be a cracker. The November window are gonna be a cracker. So look at Dujuan, Whisper Richards, like, his talent is not normal. Do you understand? I was the one that saying that, if he's going to get picked, you can't outcast or outcry. You can't come and complain about it. If he doesn't get picked, and next time we'll be there, because he's just coming off an injury. But once Whisper is fully fit and is ready to go, he deserves to be in the team, because he is our super young star. He's the next big thing. Kaheem Dixon, he is the next big thing. As long as these two young players are fit and ready to go, they're supposed to be in the team at all costs. And I was a little bit iffy, for saying, Whisper, with the games that I watched, I didn't really see much of, what I saw, like, the pace, the explosion, Whisper can be explosive, beating defenders and stuff like that. I know I saw a little bit of flashes in games, but I didn't really see, consistently, during the period when he came back from injury. And I must say, look, he looked, the strength and the power of Whisper. And I've heard Craig Butler said it like, Whisper, coming back after that injury, he's a lot more stronger than he was previously before he got injured. And look, maybe that injury have done Whisper a very good job of, reflecting back on the game off the pitch, work on, himself a little bit more, spend more time in the gym, develop his body. And you look at Whisper, like, for a player like that, he's 19 years old, when he's playing in the academy in the PL2 for Chelsea, he looked more superior than a lot of the players that he come up against, and he looked more big, he looked more bloated up than any other player. The figure of a Whisper is just a monster around a lot of players in that PL2, and to show you that he's ready, so we should be picking him at all costs. And the next thing, like, the maturity of Whisper, it seems like it's gone through the roof. And look, the more, Whisper continue to perform, for the Reggae Boyz team, it will just open more doors for him, for him at the club level. If it's going to be Chelsea, if it's going to be one of the affiliate team, it's just going to open more doors. And the more he put in performances like this for the national team, it's going to reach, technical director, it's going to reach other coaches' ears and eyes of, look, there's a young man, at Chelsea that he is the next thing. And Chelsea, they highly rated the youngster as well. Like, I wouldn't be surprised Whisper, get reinstated back in the fold after, getting to continue to train on a more consistent basis around the first team, getting picking match day squad. I wouldn't be surprised if stuff like this start to happen before the end of the season, because he's a highly rated youngster and he's one of the best, even if not, he's probably the best talent that Chelsea have in around the squad that Dujuan Whisper is playing for the academy at this moment. So he's a super talent, but the smoothness of beating the player. And there's one thing I really love about Whisper. Like, Whisper, I'm not going to say Whisper is that world beater where there's no other young players out there that better than Whisper, but you say Whisper talent is something different. Whisper talent is something different in around this region. See, like, the Mexican rating up, Mora, that young midfielder. That's how we should be pushing Whisper and hope that he get to the next level. But I remember the days of not long ago, but I think it was the time when he just signed up for Chelsea, and I was talking to a ex. I'm going to say a ex because I'm not sure if he's currently in around Craig Butler's system of playing in around Phoenix anymore, but a player that usually been around, the Phoenix camp, Kevin Atkinson, Wild Shark, was a classmate of mine at Calabar. And I remember, I was speaking to, Sharky on the phone one time, and I was asking him about Whisper, because who don't know, when Whisper, getting bigger and bigger in around the Phoenix Academy, his nickname I think was Baby Shark. Close as possible, like, Kevin Atkinson, they look alike. So they used to call Whisper, Baby Shark in around the Phoenix camp. So I used to ask, like, Kevin, like, look, this player, how good is this player? And I remember, Kevin Atkinson, Sharky told me, like, look, he's going to get to the top. He's going to get to the top. Yeah, at one point, one day in his career, he will definitely reach the top. His ceilings are so high. And the thing that really, stand out when Kevin was talking to me, and I heard Craig Butler said this as well. Like, look, he have said, this. Yeah, I think it's Scandinavian. But I remember, Wild Shark said that, look, Whisper, he loved the game. He loved to train. He loved being on the football. He wanted to prove that he's the best You understand? And that's what Craig Butler have always said over the last couple of years about Dujuan Whisper. He want to be back. He's hungry. He love play football. And that's the same exact terms and words that, Kevin Wildshot Atkinson, made to me, that look, he will reach there. And I was looking at it now, I'm like, whoa. I watching that game and I remember every word that Sharky said about Whisper to me, that this is what Whisper will be in the future, and I'm actually seeing it playing out at this moment. So big up to Whisper. He's a big talent, super talent, and wouldn't be surprised he get into the Chelsea team anytime. I wouldn't be surprised if he get into the Chelsea team right now at any given moment. You understand? But Kaheem, no, the Kaheem and Whisper, I see Kaheem Dixon and Whisper is like the Cristiano Ronaldo and Wayne Rooney comparison. Is like Whisper is like the Cristiano Ronaldo, someone that can just beat a player, on the back of as any type of skill, step over, pace, any type of dribble. And meanwhile, Kaheem Dixon is the type of a Waza where I'm calling Wayne Rooney, Waza. He's the type of player that he's going to work hard, and Kaheem Dixon is that player that he can complement and help, Dujuan Whisper, when both players are starting a game together. And these two players are the perfect duo. They are the future for the national team. Yeah, they are the future for the national team. And Kaheem Dixon can be the Wayne Rooney. He can be the Carlos Tevez. He's not going to be the most flashy player, and I probably say more of a Carlos Tevez. He can be a Carlos Tevez because Tevez is a wonderful passer at the ball, but I'm not sure if Tevez is a more better passer of the ball than a Wayne Rooney. But I'm just making a comparison of an energy card, players that just don't like to play in one position. They're going to be all over, and Dixon is that player. And the thing of Dixon, people saying that he's giving up the ball too easy. He's turning over the ball too easy. Dixon is a player that he loves to create. He's a player that is a risk taker. He's a creative player. And what we ask for the reggaeboyz player to do, bring the passion to the team, bring tempo to the game, bring energy to the game, and also bring a little bit of flair and creativity. Bring, express your feeling, bring that extra, that next character out of you. And Kaheem Dixon is bringing that to the show. So Dixon is a risk taker. Look at when Dixon pick up the ball. Dixon always want to find somebody. Yeah, him have that eye for goal and him have that eye for a pass. So guess what? Creative players are going to always have that little thing about them where they're just going to lose the ball and turn over the ball a little bit more than the regular players. Look, players that you don't want to lose the ball or turn over the ball is a center half or any one of those players that going to play it around the back four, back five. You don't want them to lose the ball. And the players that are going to play deep in the midfield, you don't want them to lose the ball. But Kaheem Dixon, Bruno Fernandes get the same stick. Just like, Kaheem Dixon, he's not the Kevin De Bruyne. He's not that smooth, silky type of a Kevin De Bruyne. Kevin De Bruyne turn over the ball as well, but Bruno Fernandes might turn over the ball a little bit more. But Dixon is that player that him take risk. Yeah, he's a risk taker. And when he's a risk taker on the ball, there's anything that's going to happen. Is he that's going to he's going to pull it off, or it's not going to work. But he's just not going to stop. And that's just the nature of a Kaheem Dixon. But a Kaheem Dixon and a Whisper, look, man. As I said, Whisper can be the CR7, the Christie, and Kaheem Dixon can be the Tevez. Someone that's going to work for that front three. Someone that's going to allow the more, luxury players like a Whisper, who is smooth, silkiness in his gameplay, beating a player off his dribble. He's not going to rush the game, but the Whisper is bringing a different game to his play. He's bringing a different style to his play. That the patient and know when to pass, and know when to dribble, and know when to shoot. Whisper is on a different level at this moment, and he prove it. But the thing though, I really want to talk about, the Whisper thing. I've heard, people coming to me, and big up to coach as well, that him not really like this about Whisper. But when Whisper scored the goal and said so, to show that. I think he posted something after that on Instagram earlier and said, "Don't doubt the play. Don't doubt the. I think he said the god dog. Don't doubt the god dog. Something like that. Whisper arrogancy. I love that about him. I love when a player have personality. I love when the player have that little feistiness about him, that little cleverness and bringing it to combining that together as well. But the arrogancy, if he can use that in the right manner, if he can use that little feistiness about him in the right manner on the pitch, I love when young players full of themselves and have that confidence that they can do anything. And Kaim Dixon have that about him, but Kaim Dixon don't have that little personality. Kaim Dixon personality is more of an energy person, a more jokey person, but Whisper is so serious about the game. And when he walk onto the pitch, he was walking onto the pitch like, I should have start. But guess what? I'm going to show you what Whisper I going to do. Yeah, I'm going to show you what Whisper I going to do. And Whisper did deliver in that game and chose it in the office. You understand? Whisper, I wanted to only play them dirty up the office with him little cleverness and his arrogancy and his little feistiness in and around the game as well. So that little thing about him, it's needed. Look at Ronaldo. Ronaldo have that arrogancy, but he use it in a positive way. Yeah, he use it in a positive way where it's showing in his gameplay at this moment, and it show where it bring a Cristiano Ronaldo. Messi have that little arrogance about him. So sometimes a young player need that little arrogance to bring him to the next level. But that's where I leave it, man. Thanks for passing through. Thanks for liking up the video. Thanks for comment. Thanks for share it, and also like up the video and also hype up the video. Thanks for watching. This is Nicardo Media House. I'm out. Salute.